Have you ever watched everyone around you sprint in the absolute wrong direction? You're left standing there, forced into a choice. Do you let yourself be swallowed by the crowd, or do you brace yourself and push back? Thousands of years ago, a man named Prophet Ilyas faced exactly this. He was sent to a society that had completely lost its moral compass. People had forgotten their creator, trading divine guidance for the worship of hollow, man-made idols. The leaders of his time engineered this culture. They rewarded falsehood, normalized corruption, and openly punished anyone who questioned their authority. When an entire society is built on a lie from the top down, the psychological weight on the average person becomes crushing. It creates a brutal, invisible demand to either get in line or keep your mouth shut. We all know how terrifying it feels to sit in a room full of people, listen to them agree on something you know is deeply wrong, and realize you are the only one who sees it. This diagram maps out the mechanics of social silencing. When you are threatened with being mocked, canceled, or completely cut out, that external pressure slowly erodes your confidence. You start doubting your core values just because nobody else shares them. Human instinct screams at us to hide, to blend in and survive. Facing total social isolation forces you to figure out what you actually believe. Ilyas saw the corruption rotting his society and made a deliberate choice. He refused to hide his faith or water down his principles to survive the climate. He walked straight into the center of the hostile empire. He stood at the foot of their power structures, looking directly at the elites who created the lies, and he spoke out loud without a trace of fear. His mission was blunt. He called them to the truth, reminded them of their creator, and exposed their empty idols. The masses rejected him, mocked his warnings, and levied severe physical threats against his life for daring to challenge the status quo. Yet he did not move an inch. His unshakable stance proved a harsh reality they didn't want to hear. The validity of a truth has absolutely zero correlation with how many people believe it. Resilience is the deliberate refusal to quit your mission just because the environment around you has turned hostile. This visual represents the concept of spiritual independence. On one side, a towering stack of human applause. On the other, divine approval. Ilyas operated on the profound realization that Allah's approval is worth infinitely more than the validation of the entire crowd combined. By placing his complete trust in Allah for protection, he stripped the corrupt leaders of their only weapon. Their intimidation tactics and their massive numbers suddenly meant nothing. When you stop needing the crowd to validate you, they can no longer control you. Mastering that spiritual independence turns an outcast into a formidable leader. Thousands of years later, that exact same battle plays out every single day in your high school hallways and your group chats. Think about the moments when a destructive trend, a wave of gossip, or targeted bullying sweeps through your school. You watch it happen and you see that everyone else is joining in. Ilyas's first lesson applies right here. You refuse to participate. You speak up if you have the chance, knowing you do not need a group behind you to validate doing what is right. Then there's the internal battle, the creeping worry that people are going to think you're weird for practicing your faith or maintaining high personal standards. You own your identity proudly instead of hiding it. The paralyzing fear of human judgment evaporates the moment you fear Allah alone. It is completely normal to look around and feel a profound sense of isolation, to feel like you have absolutely no friends who share your mindset. You find peace in your values, knowing that being alone on the right path is objectively better than being crowded on the wrong one, because one person, armed with the truth, constitutes a majority. Never trade your convictions for comfort. So the next time you feel completely alone in a room, remember Ilyas. Stand tall, put your faith on as armor, and realize you weren't made to follow the crowd. You were made to lead. Stop bending to fit into places you don't belong. Hit subscribe to join an unshakable generation and pray for the bravery to stand firm.